if you noticed during the Democrat debates the past two nights, but there was one solution to almost all the problems they discussed on that stage. One solution that could fix most of these problems in our nation that none of the Democrat candidates mentioned even once: the family. Bernie Sanders talked about the 500,000 homeless people sleeping in our streets across our nation, but you know what Bernie Sanders didn't mention? The family. How strong families have the capacity and the resources to take care of each other when they're sick. Michael Bennet said 80% of convicted felons dropped out of high school, and he blamed the school-to-prison pipeline. But you know what Michael Bennet didn't mention? How the crime rate skyrockets for young men without fathers in their life, and how strong family units help prevent kids from turning to a life of crime. Several of the candidates on that stage talked about single moms working two jobs, trying to make ends meet and take care of her kids. But you know what the Democrats didn't mention? The family. How the poverty rate for children and for single mothers is drastically reduced if parents wait to have children until they're married and then stay married, and how family units help prevent poverty. The same with abortion. Kamala Harris talked about the Hyde Amendment, which forces taxpayers to pay for abortions, and the Democrats tell women that they need abortion to succeed. But you know what Kamala Harris didn't mention? The family. How married women are much less likely to feel that they have no other choice but abortion, or feel like they can't afford their baby, or feel coerced by a non-married partner to have an abortion. Cory Booker, too, he kept talking about Newark, where he grew up. The candidates were debating in Detroit, for goodness sake, talking about the inner city. But you know what Booker didn't talk about? How young men do not join gangs when they have strong father figures and married parents. How much the family protects our kids against the identity crisis that leads them to drugs and gangs and violence. Pete Buttigieg tried to tell Christians that they were bad Christians if they didn't support a $15 an hour minimum wage. Meanwhile, by the way, Buttigieg supports abortion up until the moment of birth, so get the heck off the stage. But I digress. You know what Buttigieg did not talk about in regards to the minimum wage? The family. How much less likely families, married parents, are to be working minimum wage jobs than single parents. Even emergency health care costs. The poverty rate for families is much lower than the poverty rate for single mothers. Families typically have more savings in the bank. So if you want to talk about a mother worrying about how she's going to pay for an emergency room visit for her daughter, why don't you start talking about the family? The family is the solution to most of society's problems, yet not one Democrat presidential candidate said the word family even once. And that's my final point.